Hello, everybody. It's me, Julia, and today I am with this fabulous writer. Do you do you go by just or SF Baumgartner, or do you prefer your name?
Sylvia.
Okay, Sylvia. Oh, that's right. So you write because I also obviously do a lot of authors that write spicy romances that don't have their real name in anywhere in it, but y- you write Christian books, so I'm sure you don't mind your name in it. I also don't write spicy books, so my name's all over the place. But Sylvia, it's very nice to meet you. And tell me, so what was the inspiration with this book? And is this book a continuation? Is it part of a series? Is it?
Christmas Murders is actually sort of a spin-off of my main Mirror Estate series.
Uh-huh.
I'm not finished with that series yet, but this is. I want to write something with Christmas setting and background. So and then I want it to kind of tie in with the main series. I think this has the potential to um, be like a prequel to a new series.
Oh, are you? And how do you know when you're ready to move to a new series?
I don't know. I think my current series is still ongoing. I don't see a finished line yet, so I'm not sure. But I think it's from the response from the early reviews of this novella, it seems like quite a lot of people would like to see this as a new series.
Right.
So I may just do that.
You might just do that. Okay, so let's back up. When did you start liking to read, and when did you start thinking like, wow, maybe I'll be a writer someday?
Oh, I don't know. I like to read from young. My parents always had the books at home, and so it was started out as like picture graphics
Mhm.
books, kind of like that, and but it's all um, kind of abridged and simplified classics, and so I know a lot of classic stories, but I may not have read all of them in the originals, but
Mhm.
still, that so we kind of learned that the reading it's a nice hobby, and as far as when I started to think of myself as a writer or to want to be a writer, I don't think I ever really wanted to be a writer. I
Mhm.
dabble in it, like the first time I believe it was like maybe toward the end of high school or maybe just after high school, but it didn't go anywhere. And
Mhm.
then in college, I dabbled again, uh, and it didn't go anywhere either. But
Mhm.
then, well, of course, I had to do something to make a living. I can't just write.
Right.
So
I
I,
was hoping you said, I was really hoping you'd say, I really had to do something to make a living, so I became a writer. And then I was going to say, really, you're making a living writing?
yeah, well, see, that's the thing. Well, then I became an accountant and I worked and life went on. But at one point in my life that I guess it was the lowest point in my life that I picked up the typewriter again and I did, you know, uh, banged out a novel, a really long novel. And I think it was a, a healing process for me. I tried to back then. This was years and years ago. Self publishing or independent publishing wasn't really a thing back then. So I I had to look for an agent, and I had an agent, but it didn't really go anywhere. And then we were moving, so I thought, well, okay, that's it. So that got put on the sideline again, and then life went on again, and I think it was a few years ago. Um, I I started. I don't know. It was online that I started reading more about these independent publishing, and then Amazon. I saw that I read or heard about these people just go on Amazon and publish a book, and I just thought, that's interesting. So I kind of read up on it, and I this time around I took a few online writing classes. So now I actually know what three act structures are, and the different outline things like Save the Cat. And so I thought, well, I'll give it a try. So I wrote my first novella. It was more like, actually, it was more like a test run. I did it all by myself. I did have a cover designer, I think, and then and an editor, but it wasn't really, the whole thing wasn't, as professional as my work now. So it was, I think it was back in 2019. And then I, at one point, I just thought, well, so I pull it and published it. And then in 2020, I kind of somehow took a break. Other people started writing them, but I took a break. And I think what is it, 2022, maybe 22 or 23, 22 probably. I started thinking about it again, and I expanded, I read the reviews of the first novella, and then I, um, expanded it, had it re-edited, and got a new cover, and then published it again, 2023, June of 2023. And then also at the same time, I was writing book one. That idea, that story, book one's story, I had it in my mind since after I wrote that back in 2019. I just never, I started, but I didn't really finish it or got serious about it. But in toward the end of 2022, I started, after I redid the novella, I actually finished book one. And so book one, I published in September of last year. So, yeah.
All right. Okay, so you have a lot of TikTok fans.
Do I?
You do. I have 20,000, and I looked at you. You have like 51,000 fans on TikTok. Or
Really?
followers. Yeah, you have a lot.
Yeah, well, I know Instagram I have quite a bit. And the truth is, I am not really sure if a lot of these followers are genuine. I mean, I want to, because you just never know. At some point, I think either my handles or my email or something, somebody got a hold of it or something. So maybe I got a whole bunch of weird followers.
Yeah, I have some weird followers on the daily. Just like, all right, if you're not gonna, as long as you don't DM me and ask me if I need a sugar daddy, you can stay. All right. Okay, so my one last question about kind of how this all kind of came to be, and then we'll get right into the book that you're releasing right now. I'm not saying you can't believe in Christ and write murder books, but it's an interesting combination.
Yes, it is. Well, there are mysteries in the world, there are crimes in the world, and just because there are Christians who commit murders,
true,
for whatever reasons. So, right. I mean, this is a fallen world. We can't, we just can't deny it. I mean, I wish, we were living in a perfect world, but unfortunately, that's not the case. So I think, I believe I can write about it, and all my books are all clean. And the main series, it's more Christian based than this novella. There are Christian characters and Christian themes.
Hmm.
Um, so, I mean, okay, so let's say you're right about murder.
Hmm.
Um, you can still touch on perhaps forgiveness,
Yes.
and redemption.
Yes.
Um, these are, Christian themes.
Hmm.
So I don't think, and besides this novella, I don't think, although it's in that category, but I don't think I especially said that it was a Christian fiction.
Right.
It's more clean um, fiction.
Right. Nice. I love it. I love it. I love it when things go against kind of the predictable, right? So I was just looking at it thinking, oh, this is fun. I love it. Okay, so back to the Christmas. Okay, so now you've written a novella. Did you like write? Some people don't like writing novellas because you have to become a little more concise and things like that. Did you like the experience?
To tell you the truth, it was a challenge, I
Hmm.
should say, because see, because if anybody who had read my series so far, the full novel,
Hmm.
there are a lot of twists and turns, a lot of intricacies. It's complicated
Hmm.
and it's complex. So, and then when I wrote this one, I had to kind of limit it to just one POV,
Right.
one point of view, because my novels, all my other novels are multiple POVs, and this one, I had to make myself just write from her point of view,
Hmm.
and and I had to make the plot, you know, simpler to me. Actually, to me, I thought it was a really simple plot,
Hmm.
and it's fun that one of the reviewers, he or whoever, didn't give me. I think it was maybe a 3 stars or something, but yeah, and I thought to myself that, you should probably read my novels, then you'll see how complex and complicated it is. Because I think the review said something about, well, there was like just one bad guy there. It's easy to guess or something, and I
Right.
just thought, well, yeah, that's because I couldn't really put 10 possible
Right.
villains in there in such a short novella.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, so it was a challenge, but I managed, I guess.
Right. How fun. Okay, so tell us about this book. So kind of what's the premise and what made you, I mean, it's kind of easy to tell. Some people like my book is called The Jewels of January and you would think it was something else, but Jules is the main character. January is her stripper name. So you wouldn't think that, how does the character, and my books are clean too. Believe it or not, you can have a Christian woman stripper also. It's actually a semi-autobiographical. So tell me, like, how? Just talk to me about the book,
Okay,
things like that.
yeah, okay. The main character of this novella actually, I picked one really side character from the original series,
Hmm.
and then I just kind of thought, I kind of imagined, who this person is, where is she from, and all that, and that kind of, came about. This how that's how it started. And so basically it's about this detective in a small town,
Hmm.
fictional town, uh, in the outskirt of Orlando,
Hmm.
and she was concerned about her job because she overheard that maybe um, because of some personnel issue, that she was concerned that she might lose her job come New Year. And then all of a sudden there's this murder of a councilman,
Hmm.
and so she thought that if she could, you know um, this is a whole, high profile, and that's in that small town, they never really had any kind of big crime. So she thought that maybe this, if she could solve this, she could really prove herself, and maybe it would help her
Uh-huh.
career wise. So that's how it started.
Nice. I love it. And so you picked, have you ever written in a town that actually is real?
Well, other than Orlando, but it's not really. No, I mean, yeah, Orlando is the real thing.
Right, right. I guess I was wondering like how the setting, was there any part where the setting kind of had more of an impact on the characters or the story? Or was it mostly just a city that you picked?
uh, Orlando or the fictional small town?
The fictional small town.
Okay. Um, yeah, I didn't want to pick any real town because I don't want to, you know, because I'm saying that there's corruption and all that, and I
Right,
don't want to pick any real town and have people think that. What do you mean we have corruption? We don't have any corruption.
right, right.
So
Yes.
that's
I
why.
could see it. I write mostly like romance books. And so they're not really saying that there's a lot of corruption and stuff, but I can see how that would be a problem. You don't want to paint a city in a bad light if you're going to kind of
Right.
focus on it as part of the thing. Were there any scenes or elements of the book that were kind of challenging to write?
Um, well, not really. My only challenge is to limit myself. I guess not as um, I would have thrown in a lot more twists and turns and that kind of stuff. But I had to kind of make sure to restrain myself, so to speak. So that would be a challenge, I guess.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. And I don't get to talk to a lot of thriller and mystery people. Most of everybody I talk to is writing like romanticies or paranormal or so you're probably one of the first mystery people I've gotten to talk to. What do you hope like what themes or messages do you hope that people pick up in the book?
For this one, yeah, second chance,
Mhm.
and yeah, there's hope,
Mhm.
and there's always not so much forgiveness here and redemption on my main series, yes, but here it's more, yeah, there's always hope and second chance. Um, yeah,
Those are good
it's
ones, especially in a novella, like you said, right? You don't have a lot of room to expound on and to bring in a lot of other tropes or messages or ideas. You're very limited. I just wrote one myself, so I know. And I too did it in one person POV because I was like, what? And then now I'm writing romantic shorts, which are only like 65 pages.
oh.
Those are two-person POV. I'm insane. Um, what part of this book are you the most proud of? Was there anything that you managed to do or were able to get in there that was like, that wasn't easy, but I did it?
I would say that when Casey, the main character, was on the phone with this other detective, and what she heard over the phone, that because what I was trying to make people, if they pay attention, they might have picked up on it that
Mhm,
where this other detective was
mhm.
from the sound, and how that could give her some clues. So that was kind of hard. You don't want to tell her outright where he was, and
Mhm.
have her ask him, oh, so where are you, that kind of stuff. But I want to her to be able to pick up certain things, like certain noise, like, oh, some, like he was moving or some other really weird noise or something. Um, so yeah, that turned out to be okay, I guess.
Nice. That's good. um, do you hope, or like, how do you hope maybe readers will connect to your characters?
Well, I believe that a lot of people can relate as far as fearing for your job. If you have this prospect of your job being cut, um, whether it doesn't have to be law enforcement. It can be any job that
Right.
you have. Then nowadays you can. I think you can relate to it. That there's a fear that you might lose your job, and what are you going to do? And there's a possibility that this one opportunity comes up, then maybe you might think that, oh well, maybe I do well here, maybe I could have another chance.
Right.
So
Very
that's what I
nice.
think.
Yeah, no, I like it. Was there anything about, writing your characters, writing that your characters surprised you, like they wanted to go one way? And did you ever have that happen?
Uh, yeah, but not Casey, but yeah, over the in my series, yeah, it happened. I would start out thinking that actually, now that I think about it, um, maybe a little bit, maybe before I started actually writing it, I might have a different idea, or at least slightly different idea of what this character, the backstory, and all that. But then it turned out that maybe that's not how she really wanted to show herself,
Hmm.
to introduce herself.
Right.
So yeah, so I didn't do that.
Yeah. I think that was the thing that surprised me the most about being an author, how you could be writing and all of a sudden your character is going left and you're like, wait a minute, this is not that kind of book. Or what, I just never knew that was, but every author that I have talked to experiences it. So it is pervasive in our field. But if somebody were to tell me that, I'd be like, what? No way. You're the writer, but are we? Sometimes I wonder.
Yeah, it happens. I don't understand it, but it just that's why sometimes when people tell me to I guess especially my genre, people
Mhm.
ask me to you have to make this outline, the whole plot and everything, plot it all out and something, and then I was thinking to myself, yeah, I can have this plot, I can have this you know, uh, uh, in general, from here to there, maybe. But if I had to write down every single thing, I'm really, I'm thinking that when I'm writing it, something is going to change because that, this whatever it is, an agent, detective, or whatever, whoever they are, they might decide not to do what I want them to do,
Mhm.
and they might decide to go this way and not that way. So I
And
just thought,
sometimes their way is better. It's better for the story, right? You never know. It's that creativity. I think sometimes if you outline too much, where's the creative power? Where's the divine intervention? Where's that fit in if you're engineering it to the point of I don't know. It's very interesting idea. I feel like there's a whole thing there. You could write a whole book about how characters try to take over your book. Do you have any favorite scene or chapter in this particular book that you liked?
um, maybe at the end that, yeah, it's probably at the end when, all is revealed that she, um, yeah, toward the end there. I don't want to say what
Right, I don't
happened,
want you
but
to either. Don't spoil it.
yeah.
And that's hard, that's a whole art in itself is how to talk about a book without spoiling it. Because it's not easy. Um, what is the most, is there anything about a new release like that's exciting to you? Do you like new releases?
This new release,
Hmm.
um, well, yeah, it's my first Christmas, Christmas setting.
Okay.
Although, yeah, it's funny how a couple reviews would say that didn't really have a lot of Christmas thing in there, and if you take the Christmas setting away, it would still be a good book or whatever, something like that. And I thought to myself, um, well, I mean, if you were writing romance,
Mhm.
then I think it's different because, yeah, Christmas, there's Christmas spirit, then it's easier for you to tie it in, like the Hallmark movies kind of thing. But then,
Kissing
as far
mystery.
as mystery, and it's kind of hard for you to really have the Christmas spirit as like a focus and
Right.
then add the mystery in there. And I mean, how focused can you be? Yeah, could
He was strangled by Christmas lights and tied up with tinsel. He was allergic to mistletoe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could think of is, I mean, could it be that something happened during like maybe a Christmas tree lighting?
Right.
You find a body there or something, but still, then it would be solving of the murder, solving of the crime, you know, not the Christmas
Not about
tree.
the Christmas tree, right? The Christmas tree is not being suspicious.
Yeah,
Nobody said he did it. It is very challenging. Like I said, I don't get to talk to a lot of mystery writers, so you're really kind of opening my eyes to some of the things that I would never have to consider as a romance writer. I mean, you could turn changing the oil in your car into a sweet romantic moment. But murders, they're different. They take a whole different kind of way of thinking about it and how you have to organize things. And I think you have to have a lot more plot. You're trying to. My trickiest, hardest part is like everybody who buys a romance knows it's going to end with a happily ever after or a happy for now. And so, yes, I do have to drag them through and make them think that this couple isn't going to make it. But that's it. You have to really trick them, but it's still got to be possible, right? It can't be like something from the left field so far that it's like, what's the point, right? So
yeah.
it's really challenging. I can't even imagine.
Well, like I said, this one is a little bit more straightforward for
Mhm.
me, at least.
Right.
But the other novels that tend to be more twists and turns that a lot of times you can't really
Right.
guess. And because just from the reviews of the other books, a lot of times that's what I hear is that, just when I thought, I could get it, say, well, then that, it's not, that's not the way, that's not it is. And so
Okay, so what's next for you? What can we expect next?
I'm starting the book 5 of my current series.
Uh-huh.
And I'm hoping that to release it early next year.
Okay. Nice. All right. That's fantastic. Well, I sure appreciate. Oh, no, no, no. But the last question. I almost like left the last question. Here's the last question I ask every author. If you were talking to a brand new writer, what advice would you give them?
Don't give up, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just write what you love
Mhm.
and just don't give up.
Yes. I think that's great advice. Thank you so much, Sylvie. I really appreciate your time and talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. Have a fabulous day.
You too.